Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Home TV, specifically Cubase for composers. And today I will tell you about MIDI recording in Cubase. So let's go. All right, so once you have your Cubase open, you can choose your instrument from the right side. You can just drag and drop it into your tracks, or you can just right click here, add instrument track, and then choose whatever you want. For example, for me, it's augmented strings. And then you have the MIDI inputs here. If you have multiple keyboards, you can choose it here. But for now, we're going to press just all MIDI inputs because it's going to input from all the input devices that we have. This is the audio outputs, which says where the sound is going to come out, and just leave it out for now. And event type is a MIDI part or pattern event. For now, we're going to put it on MIDI part, and you can also add a name to it, or you can also add counts to it. So for example, you want 2 tracks of the same instrument here. For now, I'm going to press on add track. All right. And if I'm not talking about something, don't worry, we'll cover it. But for now, let's just go. Now this is the interface of my augmented strings from Arturia. I'm going to close it because we don't really need it now. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to press a key on my MIDI keyboard. And you might say, hey, I don't have a MIDI keyboard, or I'm just on my laptop. How can I input notes? Well, if you want to record your MIDI live, like what I'm going to do right now, you can either use the MIDI keyboard or just press Alt and K on your keyboard to open up the on-screen keyboard. All right. And once this is open, you can actually use the keys on your keyboard to input notes. All right. So now I'm going to close this because I'm going to use my MIDI keyboard. Alrighty. And then next step would be to determine the tempo that I want. So if you know already what your tempo is, you can just simply go down here. As you can see, this is the tempo spot where you can determine the tempo. Mine is now on 84. Or if you don't know, or it's in your mind, but you don't know what the number is going to be, you can use the tap here. And if you don't see tap, make sure that everything is fully open here. And when I'm also pulling this, you can see that there's a 4/4 here. This is also where the time signature lies. Okay, so I want it to be in a 4/4, and I'm going to tap it. So you can also use shift space to tap. So either click or shift space, and do it at least 7-8 times. So at least you would have a correct tempo. Let's try. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's around 72 what I entered. All right. Now we have our tempo, and I would usually want to have a pre-count when I'm recording. A pre-count helps you to get into tempo when you want to record whatever you're recording. So for example, without a pre-count, if I click on record here, it just immediately starts to record. All right. But usually I don't really like this. And to add a pre-count, I can just simply go here, and you see these dots here. I can just simply pull it, and we can also see more pattern information here. For example, now it's a 4/4 here with a strong downbeat in our metronome. But this is what I want. This is activate counting. So I'm going to activate my counting, and then if I click on record, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm recording. All right, now I stop it. So now I'm going to zoom in a bit here. As you can see, the event that I have right now, this clip, I'm going to make it shorter just to make it clean, because what I recorded is 4 bars. And now let's go and see what's happening inside of it. So if I double click, I can see more detail here. And naturally, when we play, we are not really synchronized in time because we're humans. So it's always going to be a little bit left or right from the actual timing that we have. So for example, if you check this here, these two notes, this one, and also here and here, they are starting a bit earlier, okay? And it might be something that you want because sometimes it's necessary to have something more human and more natural. But if not, and you want it to be exactly on the beat, for example, for drums or for anything specific that you want, you can just simply select all of your notes and press Q. And did you see it changed? But now I'm going to tell you why the change is not what we thought it would be. Let me zoom in a bit. Okay. And also, if you see that I'm moving stuff here, I'm using the middle click. Let's see if you guys see it. Yeah, here. I'm using the middle click of my mouse here. So I click it and then I can just move it around. Let's see. I'm gonna again, well, actually I forgot this is not really necessary to select all of them. I can just press Q, and as you can see, it's now quantized. But then, look, see, this is the lines here. They're on the lines compared to this one, right? But then you might say, hey, this is not what I want it to be. And so how is this working? Now, let me tell you this. You have the quantization option, and it's basically lets you choose to what note, what duration of the note things will be quantized, okay? So it's gonna push to that side that you're choosing, okay? Now it's on a 16th note, and if I just go back, Cubase is thinking, hey, this guy better goes to back because it's going to be closer, and then it's going to fix a 16th note here for you, this tiny duration. So it's going to cook it backwards, pull it backwards, so and then it will make a 16th note for you. But if, for example, I select a quarter here, and then I press Q, as you can see, everything is now moved to a quarter, okay? So now it's going to be fixed in time. Now, let's see. I'm going to press play, and I'm going to turn off the metronome. And on. All right, super neat. Now, the fun thing in Cubase is that it's not, the way it's editing their quantization, it's not destructive, which means that it's still holding the information that you had from before. So if you don't like it and you did multiple stuff, you can either undo it or you can just go to a very, very high quantization level. So for example, I'm going to use 116 as before, and then I'm going to press on quantize. So it's now back to where it was before, where we actually recorded it and where we actually pressed on the 16th. See, it's now quantized to this. But if you want, you can also go back. So I'm now putting it on a 32nd note, and then I press Q. So you see, it's even more to what it was before. All right. So, and you might ask, what is the reason for this? And that's because sometimes you don't really need quantization in the exact timing that you record something, and you wanted to play with different levels, and you don't really need to do the undo thing. So you can just play with the quantization presets, okay? And now let me add another instrument to tell you something else, all right? So I'm going to close this guy, and I'm going to add another instrument. Let's say I'm going to go and add, let's see, this guy. Now I'm going to test it. Okay, this is a nice sound because I wanted to have some attack in it. By the way, did you know that you can now become a member in my YouTube channel and benefit from the many perks? For example, we can chat in Discord over your problems, or if you have any questions in Dorico, Cubase, or composition. And also you can request videos and many other cool stuff. Well, actually, one of the most important things is that you're gonna support me to make more content faster and better for you guys. And yeah, so if you're down for it, click on the join down there. There's a join button down there, which I will add the picture of it. And yeah, that would mean a lot. So let's keep on watching it. I'm gonna mute this track, okay? Now, look, there's something cool in Cubase, and it's called Auto Quantization. And that lets you automatically quantize what you are recording, okay? So you don't really need to quantize it later. And the way it works is this Auto Quantization here. So see this AQ here? If I turn this on, okay, and I choose a quantization here. For example, I say I want to record some 8 notes, okay? So I put it on 8 notes, and I'm going to record something. Let's see. So it'll be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... All right, super nice. Now let me close this. I'm gonna double click. And look, now everything is super neat and clean. It's already quantized. Okay, and the last thing to tell you guys, because if you are using the Alt K as your keyboard, so if I press an Alt and press K, your other shortcuts that are maybe similar to these guys are not going to work. So for example, if you have R as your record, it's not going to work, okay? So don't get frustrated, you'll get used to it. Let me see, let me show you something. For example, I set it here. This is like a bit of a workflow. You set it to where you want it to record. You press the record button here, and then you can start on recording. Now, there's also another tip here. Take a look here. The quantization was on a quarter note, okay? But then my auto quantization was on, but what I was doing was, I think it was 8 notes, right? Da, ga, da, yeah, there were 8 notes, okay? But then look, it's being recorded as just quarters here, 1 quarter, 1 quarter, 1 quarter, okay? So make sure that whatever you're recording, if you're using auto quantization, it's exactly the thing that you want. Otherwise, this is gonna happen. But then, if it happened, again, as I told you, Cubase works in a non-destructive way, so you can just go back to whatever you thought it would be best. So for example, if I put it on, let's see, 8, and then I do quantize. Oh, let me close this. Okay, now it's quantized into 8 notes. So it knows already what you recorded, and it changed it to what you automatically specified in the auto quantization, okay? So this is a very handy feature in Cubase, and also it can be really productive sometimes. And yeah, and I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And till later, Homayun out.